welcome to tonight's League of Legends Roundup for July 16th. You're going to say to yourself, why is this being uploaded so late? There's like 4 hours between before the LPL games begin. You said you weren't going to do the LCS games because it was going to end so late. Why are you doing this now? Well, if this game doesn't pause, was it this one? Was it this one? I think it was this one. If this game doesn't pause, this video's out like 5 hours ago. But so that's pretty much why the second half of this video is set in the daytime. I tried to get the sneak peek out and recorded, but while these games were going on, because you know that's irrelevant to the LEC, because the LEC doesn't play tomorrow, and it didn't make a difference because there was a pause that screwed me. So let's get through these games, and the sneak peek will come after that. LPL, BLG, and Rare Atom start us off. You will find out that OMG and FPX did not play this morning. They play in 4 hours because of COVID. BLG won 2-1. Bin led the way 13-4 and 19. Fofo and Icon combined for 35% of the team's damage. Fofo played in game 1. His stat line does not look bad, and it was kind of weird pulling him out, excuse me. But Icon kind of just filled the role and finished the game out, games 2 and 3. iBoy led the way for Rare Atom, going 10, 7, and 16 with 700 damage per minute. EDG versus Top, a really big game, arguably the biggest game on the schedule on this board. Top would come out ahead 2-1. Knight 7, 1, and 11. Jackie Love 8, 4, and 12 with 32% of the team's damage. Flandre played very well for EDG. When they won, he had a Vladimir Top, which drew a ban. He went 5, 3, and 9 with 29% of the team's damage. LCK, Kwangdong, and KT. KT won 2-0 after Kwangdong beat them last week. Aiming 15, 2, and 12 with 34% of the team's damage. I believe he may have had a penta. Life 2, 1, and 27 with 88% KP. KDF score lines were pretty bad. Fate with the best one at 2, 4, and 7. DRX and T1. T1 made easy work of DRX 2-0. Game 2 was a little rocky, but they were able to come back from a actual sizable gold deficit in the early game. Faker 7, 2, and 17 with 32% of the team's damage. Zaya 7, 2, and 13 with 32% as well. Very dominant, really dumpstered Kingen in top lane. Zika 6, 4, and 4 for DRX. LEC, SK, and XL. XL 10th in the power rankings would be upset by SK. Gen and X 2, 1, and 5 with 32% of the team's damage. Surtus 8, 0, and 2 in mid. Marcoon, best player for XL, going 1, 2, and 2. Mad Lions and Astralis. Mad Lions beat Astralis. Unforgiven 6, 1, and 2. Niski 3, 3, and 11 with 93% KP. Kabe 3, 2, and 5 with 38% of his team's damage. Kabe tried to will Astralis to a victory and could not in the end, but he tried his damnedest. BDS versus Rogue. Comp, best scoreline 8, 1, and 6. Larson dealt the most damage with 31% of their team's damage, going 2, 0, and 12. Syncroft, 100% KP, 2 of the 3 kills for the team. BDS continue to fall off the wagon, 2, 3, and 1. Misfits and G2. Misfits continue to put G2 on a slide. G2 probably should have won this game. One of those games where you somehow lose with Infernal Soul and more kills than your opponent. So Misfits win. Vethio 3, 2, and 8 with 1.3k damage per minute on a Corki. Yeah, 1.3k. Neon 3, 3, and 5. Yanko 7, 2, and 8 for G2. Vitality and Fnatic. Vitality end up beating Fnatic to tie them in the standings. Alfari 6, 2, and 6 with 36% of the team's damage. Karzi 2, 1, and 6 upset 3, 2, and 2 with 38% of Fnatic's damage. Stars of the day, LPL. Bin, Knight, Jackie Love, Mark. Leanne was a star jungler. Honestly, the junglers did not. I mean, Tien stole a Baron against EDG, like, good for him. But, like, when it comes to basic stats, you know, KDA, KP, damage per minute, damage share, all that. Leanne, I felt, played a bigger role for his entire team than Tien did. Knight, like we said, 7, 1, and 11. Jackie Love 8, 4, and 12. Mark, support, obviously, is probably not going to be ever listed there, really, outside of KP reasons. Did very well also. LCK, Zeus in top, like I said, 7-2 and 13. Cuz was the best jungler, similar situation to the LPL. The jungle role kind of was a little bit underwhelming for Saturday. Faker 7-2 and 17, Aiming 5-2 and 12, and Life 2-1 and 27. Like I said, supports never usually get mentioned. Life 2-1 and 27 in a 2-game series, pretty damn incredible with 88% KP. LEC Alfari top 6-2 and 6 with 36%. Yankos in a loss 7-2 and 8 on a Viego. Vatio 3-2 and 8 with that 1.3k damage. Comp 8-1 and 6, and Trimby also had a good score line as a support. So that's it for the roundup for July 16th. Now on to the sneak peek. Okay, now the sneak peek for tomorrow. Sunday's games. We're going to have 3 games in the LPL, 2 in the LCK, and 5 in the LCS. So, LPL, OMG, and FPX, like I said earlier in this video, it was postponed until tomorrow morning due to COVID restrictions. I looked at the rosters, and the starting 5 are the same. So I don't know if a player had COVID or a coach had COVID, but make sure this is on the screen. I just bumped into it. But they had to postpone until this morning. Well, not this morning, but tomorrow morning. Both 4 and 5. OMG lost to top 2-1. FPX beat LNG 2-0. Care was the star of the show, and the last time they played when FPX won 2-1 on week 8, day 8 of spring. Care went 14-2 and 22. I'm interested to see Sean G versus Summit, like I said in yesterday's sneak peek. That is an interesting matchup. Now with our normal slate of Sunday, LGD versus Ultra Prime, combined 3 and 12. As you see here, they are both in the basement. BLG beat LGD 2-1 the last time LGD was on the Rift. Ultra Prime lost to EDG 2-0. Week 2, day 5 was the last time they played. Ultra Prime winning 2-1. Elk going 25, 8, and 16 in that series. I want to see Assam versus Elk. Obviously, this is the matchup to watch. They couldn't keep Elk under control in the first time they went around in spring. We'll see if they can in this time, in this series. Because, Assam last week did very well, but in his first series this week, he was downright awful and really followed up his great performances with some really sus play. Victory 5 versus Weibo is the matchup of the day in the East, as far as I'm concerned. The bar is set pretty low with these. It's the only competitive one, even relatively. Victory 5, 9-0. Weibo 5-4, both in the top 17 of my power rankings. IG lost to Victory 5-2-0 the last time V5 were on the Rift. BLG would lose to Weibo 2-1 the last time Weibo was on the Rift. Week 3, day 3 was the last time they played. Weibo winning 2-1. Wanfeng going 17-3 and 21. I am interested to see Wanfeng versus Fodic. I believe Wanfeng has went through a little bit of a dry spell lately where he hasn't been a major point of emphasis for Weibo, where Fodic has shown up big, especially on the Senna, and I'm interested to see if they end up allowing the Senna to go through and picking Draven into it, something kind of weird. Weibo need to get wins, and this is a win that they could get. I think Victory 5 are very good, don't get me wrong, but Weibo are an elite team when they're on, and the problem is for them to be on and not, losing and inting. LCK, Dom1 versus Fredip Brion. Dom1 6-3, 6th in my power rankings. Fredip Brion 1-8, coming off of their first win over Nongshim 2-0. DK were able to beat KDF the last time they were on the Rift. Week 1, day 2 is the last time they played in this split, by the way, for the LCK, because it's double round robin. Week 1, day 2, Dom1 won 2-0. Showmaker went 6-2 and 9 in game 1. There were only 3 total kills. That is a game I will never forget. Never forget. I said it just like that because I believe that's the game with the first blood that broke the record. Game gives me nightmares. Nuguri versus Morgan. Morgan was the star of the show for Fredip Brion in their win over Nongshim. We'll see if Nuguri can keep him under control in case he gets hot. I don't know who the jungler or support will be. Jungler or AD carry will be for Fredip Brion, so I can't really speculate on that, even though they came off a win. So I'd like to think Umpty and Henna will be in, but no promises. Gen G versus Nongshim. Gen G third. Nongshim 2-7, like I said, coming off of that loss to Fred Brion. Gen G beat Sandbox last time they were on the Rift. Week 3, day 2 in summer was when they played. Gen G winning 2-0. Ruler went 8-2-14. Chovy versus BDD is what I want to watch. Chovy's kind of similar to the Wanfeng situation in that way. Chovy is kind of taking a back seat lately to Ruler, and even Doran to a degree. I feel like Chovy, it's obviously Chovy is still a very, very freaking good mid laner. He's the best mid laner in the world, in my opinion. But he really hasn't been very flashy lately. And BDD is coming off an absolutely atrocious, awful, embarrassing 2-0 loss to Fred Brion. So if he does not step it up, Nongshim should be moving him out for a different mid laner. It's downright pitiful. LCS, these records do not include Sunday night's games. Obviously, the roundup did not include the LCS games because it's too late in the night to be able to get this roundup out in a reasonable fashion, with the turnaround for LPL coming out like 3 o'clock in the morning. So, FlyQuest versus TSM, they played week 5, day 1 of spring. Fly won. Jose Diota went 6-2-9. Like I said in yesterday's sneak peek, Spica's the only player on TSM that was there in spring. Spica's the only player still with the team as of a week ago. So, yeah. It's Spica versus Jose Diota. CLG versus 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves 14th in the power rankings. 100T won in spring in week 5, day 2. FBI went 5-1-1. I'm going to watch Poom versus Huhi. The bot lane is where it, gets interesting for CLG with their picks. And Huhi can get interesting as well, so we'll see how that goes. EG versus TL, probably the only other competitive series today looking at the lineups outside of this one. That one might be competitive as well, but that's not because both teams are really, really great. It's because both teams are closely matched, where 2 very good teams there and 2 very good teams here. The playoffs, EG would beat Team Liquid in the losers finals, I believe. In the first time around, it was a different story, but nevertheless, EG won 3-0 the last time they played in the playoffs. Danny going 26-3-11 in that series. That is the series, I believe, where he got that Baron steal and Penta with Jinx. JoJo versus Bjergsen is what I want to watch. Obviously, there is a little bit of, hidden animosity there. I won't even say animosity, but, JoJo did talk a little bit of shit about Bjerg in spring. C9 versus Immortal. Immortals. Week 6, day 1 was the last time they played. C9 won. Blabber went 3-2-1. Obviously, only Blabber and Berserker are still in their roles for C9 from the last time they played. I am interested to see Jensen versus PoE, an old school mid lane matchup from the last few years that I think both could, they both play control mages mid very well, so maybe we end up getting a classic Azir, Victor, Orianna sort of matchup. Syndra is the one that's left out, but you never can rule it out with these guys. Golden Guardians versus Dignitas. Week 7, day 2 is the last time they played. GG won. Pride Stalker went 6-2-7. We're going to go with the old school veteran support, similar to how I went with that one. Let's see how Ole versus Bio do in the bot lane as they try and pilot Neo and Stixxay. Obviously, Stixxay is not a rookie by no means, but still, I think both bot lanes leave a lot to be desired, so we'll see which one ints less. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, my roundup will be out. That will include all the LPL games, because I do believe that... oh, yeah, today's Saturday. Sunday. Tomorrow's roundup will be out, and it will include all the LCS games from tonight and tomorrow. So I'll start the roundup with tonight's LCS games, move into the LPL, LCK, LPL, LCS again. So thank you for watching, and I hope you come back for more content.